Hello there, everybody. How you doing? I just realized with my video I did earlier, break through the limit fanfiction reading, I had my mic up. Like you know that you hold up your mic up like this. Yeah, the volume was like so low. That's why you can barely hear anything I said for those 2 seconds. Let's get to it, shall we? Once Once all was said and done, it taken just over 4 weeks, using what he learned from the Sand Happer's spacepod for Dr. Briefs to complete this ship that would take the party that had assembled at his home to Namek. A trip that itself would take about a week, while he wished he had enough time to install a few other things like a cappuccino machine and OS tweaks. He also knew he had been pressured for times. The Dragon Ball dynamics were anything like on Earth's. They only had a window of a year before resurrecting their fallen friends would be impossible. The pod, unfortunately, was only capable of comfortably supporting 6 passengers. Though he was eager to visit a new world, Yamcha had drawn the short straw between him, Krillin, and Tien, so he be keeping Chaozu company with Bulma, Bardock, Goku, Gohan, Tien, and Krillin will be traveling to Namek. Bardock would be deeply impressed by the good work the Doctor had done on such short notice. It had taken the best engineers of the Saiyans had to offer the same amount of time it took Dr. Brief to make his ship, and they could only fit one person. The factory had gravity controls, possibility to help with any high gravity stellar bodies from attacking the crew, made it even more useful, especially since the gravity could be changed on a room by room basis, so he, Kakarot, and Gohan could still train on something more closely resembling late planet Vegeta. Bardock didn't know if there was a human warrior amongst them that could handle the gravity as well as the Saiyan, but he made sure to tell them that if they could, they would welcome them to train with them. They might not be able to stand up to Vegeta or the late unlapnin Nappa, but with these human techniques, they were extremely inventive. He's using things I do not know, to say the least. Krillin's speed bullet and Kinza were definitely devious, as well as Tien's Teioken. Learning more about them, maybe even how to use them, would be very useful when they went up against Frieza. Goku was mystified by increasing technical talk between Bulma and father. Apparently, the ship could travel faster than the speed of light and can control its own gravity. That's about far as he got him before his eyes began to glaze over. His dad seemed to understand at least some of the jargon that was being thrown about. By the plotting look in his eye when Dr. Brees mentioned gravity controls, Goku knew he discovered something useful. Thinking about it, Goku began to understand what his father was thinking. Higher gravity would be like having weighted training clothes. Makes you heavier, so you can train your body to work greater than normal loads. In the light, Goku was excited to get underway, even if Chi-Chi was drilling Gohan on proper decom and what he had to study for and what he had to be the 25th time since breakfast. Gohan was responding automatically to his mother's ministry. By this point, he's more fascinated by the not-so-minor scientific scientific miracle that was in front of him. The fact that Dr. Briefs had managed to reverse engineer something that could warp space-time as well as gravity itself, and build an entire ship around it, power it, and everything else was mind-boggling to say the least. What he give to pick the bespectacled man's brain for a few weeks? Well, maybe when he returned from Namek, you could see if his mom would allow him to visit the Briefs residence on weekends. He was decided, a little scared, but I thought being away from his mother for more than a day or two. Sure, his dad would be there, as well as Grandpa Bardock and the others. But his mom was always most protective of him. He was even getting to spend time with Mr. T and Grillin. Maybe the people on Namek were nice. Maybe they would even be kids his age there. The more he thought about it, the more Gohan exhaled. I need to learn about reading. Actually, I know how to read. I just suck at it. I read by myself. I'm such a loser, aren't I? This was gonna be fun. Oh, I nearly forgot. I got a bag of senzu beans from Corin before we called Dr. Briefs. They should come in handy if any of us get hurt. Senzu beans? Bardock asked. Do you hear you or something? Mm-hmm. Goku affirmed, nodding. They can hear you from almost anything. And they can feed you for a whole week, too. Bet they come in handy for training. For Zenkai. Zen what? Krillin asked, confused. Zenkai, Bardock said, deep in thought. When the Saiyan is brought nearly to the point of death, and they have time to heal, they get a huge boost in their battle power. How much of a boost? Depends on a lot of things. How badly you were hurt, how strong you are. I think bloodline has something to do with it, too. Hey, Dr. Briefs, he called out. How high do these gravity controls go? How high? I say they could go safely up to 100 times Earth's gravity. Anything beyond that, you risk overloading the system and causing a core breach. How high? Oh yeah, about 10 times what we had on planet Vegeta, Bardock said. Good, makes a lot of things easier. What things? Bulma asked slowly. Training, Bardock replied simply. Before you start saying and before you start, Saiyans evolved on a planet with a gravity an order of magnitude higher than this one. Plus, our ki keeps our body even more stable even in hostile environments like that. You're a lot smarter than you look, Bardock, Bulma said approvingly. Like some losers. I paid attention in class, Bardock said proudly. Saiyans have schools? We did, Bardock replied. But if you were in the lower class, you were sent to your planet first to prove your worthiness by taking out the if only I knew how to pronounce words. A prolist, like Kakarot and Raditz and I were. People like Nappa that were born with a high power level got to stay on the planet while we were rolled by the time they could read. Bardock added with a hint of disgust. You really don't have to do well, Academy. Though if you could punch things hard. So, for a lot of people, it was the only place to train in savagely. I might have not been a stellar student, but a warrior who knows the value of knowledge is more likely to survive than who knows how to use fist. Buck was taken a bit back by the brazen look he got from Bulma. Everything he had said had been true, but not all that impressive. Though Kakarot was no schooler, he wasn't a complete moron either. Even then, the contrast between him and his youngest son couldn't explain the look she was giving him. They almost looked predatorily. The image of young Saiyan woman entered his mind. Unbidden, she gave him the same looks this earthling was giving him now. At one time, their faces were too similar, too. had been a long time since had thought about his wife, fine warrior. He didn't think he was ready or able to return this Earth woman's rather obvious desires. The loss for him was still all too raw. They loaded into the ship, preparing to take off. Bardock thought about a time, not long ago, he had considered using this Dragon Balls to bring back his planet and its people, or just bring back his wife at any rate. The more he thought about it, the less it made to make the less sense it made to her. She'd been dead for over 20 years. She even had a tougher time adjusting than he did when he first came to this planet. Even if he brought his wife back, there's no telling how much 2 decades of being dead would have changed her. She could easily be a different person than the woman he fell in love with. When he thought about it like that, it made more sense to let her rest, for him to move on. When he would be able to, maybe once Frieza was nothing more than memory, he might be able to start living again. Reading green across the board, Bulma said into the monitor of the front of her seat, before turning to the people seated behind her. Everyone strapped in, seeing the nods of affirmation. She continued, "Good, launching in T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, T-minus 0, starting ignition sequence." "Good luck, everybody," Dr. Brief said. Through the monitor of the ship began to shake. From looks on the faces of those around him, discounting Bulma, Bardock knew he wasn't alone, and as uneasy as he felt in the ship lurch upward. The sand space pods were completely smooth in movement. It was a disquieting sensation, to say the least. You could feel the floor beneath you vibrating madly as the massive spear continued its valiant and successful battle with the gravity. Eventually, the rumbling stopped, replaced with a very peculiar sensation: weightlessness. This one Bardock has only experienced a few times before, but each time he had trouble with the fact that his limbs had been pulled down, had nothing pulling them down. Initially artificial gravity, Bulma said after a few moments. Soon the weight returned, and Bulma gave an all clear for them to start moving again freely. The route set in the computer navigation system, so I guess will be a little trouble. "Gentlemen, we are officially astronauts." "So cool," Krillin said as in awe as he looked into the nearest window. When will I learn how to read?" "I'm gonna have to put this in 2 parts, probably." What Krillin said. "If you gentlemen will excuse me," Bulma said, stretching out his arms. "I haven't slept in the past 36 hours, so I'm going to bed now. Don't wake me unless the ship is on fire." Bardock could have sworn he saw a sly wink in his direction come from Bulma. He just slid intentionally. With more pressing matters to attend to. The training regiment began to chief along them. Bardock thought for a moment how he ought to proceed. The humans would likely want to join them, but Bardock didn't know if they could handle the extra gravity. He and the last of his line were eventually going to be under. However, even if they are only capable of handling 5 times gravity, the starting point on which he decided since he become too used to Earth's low gravity, they still benefit from it. The stronger the cards on his deck were, the less likely Frieza would be able to walk away from their eventual encounter alive. Plus, he had a bad feeling about Planet Namek, since he saw it on the Planet Trades Organization's database. Something about it seemed familiar, like something in a last of its visions. He couldn't be sure, but to prepare, nothing than walk into a firefight unprepared. You guys ready to get started? Even can't face your death with an ounce of dignity. Wait, was all Dodora managed to get out of his mouth before Bardock used the key blast to send his head clean off his shoulders toward Fasha Sigesh. Bardock said triumphantly, yet with a hint of sadness. You can rest a little easier now, my friends. There's only one bastard left, and you'll have your revenge you desire, even if it kills me. Bardock let out a sigh of relief before another large power landed behind him. Spin a while, a familiar voice said, hasn't it, Bardock? Vegeta, Bardock said, turning around. Okay, I won't lie, I had a little trouble getting parts of this written. Writer's block is pain. Blah 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 blah. Ah, don't you guys just love this? I'm gonna have to. I think I'm actually gonna have to take some parts of this out. Maybe like when I stutter, no, in the beginning. But I'll see all you guys later. If you like this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment if there's any fanfiction on fanfiction.net you want me to read. Bye. Bye bye bye. Hello everybody. If you're wondering why there was you know, that big skip in the middle video, sorry about that. It for some reason got rid of that clip for most of the clip for some reason. Because I'm too lazy to record that part again, I'm just gonna tell you, they went to gear you, they got power-ups. Yeah, that's basically all. Yeah, that's all. I'll see you guys later.